Some mysteries refuse to be forgotten. Some legends never fade. And some conspiracies demand to be uncovered. This is Codename Unknown. Mysteries, conspiracies, and legends. Where expert investigator and host Jackson Wolf dives deep into history's most perplexing enigmas, chilling folklore, and secretive cover-ups. Each week, he pushes the boundaries of what we know, uncovering hidden truths and questioning the stories we've been told. The search for answers begins now. Open your mind, question everything, and step into the shadows.
Welcome to Codename Unknown. Mysteries, conspiracies, and legends. I'm Jackson Wolf, your guide for a deep dive into mythical cures, urban legends, and the healing powers of folklore. Tonight we will travel from royal courts to internet forums, asking why stories of miraculous recovery grip us and how belief can nudge biology. Before we begin, remember nothing here is medical advice. Consult a qualified clinician for care. When I say mythical cure, I mean a broad family, urban legends about miracle recoveries, folk remedies passed down through families, faith healing and intercession, and claims of cures that defy known mechanisms. Some are harmless rituals, some conceal risks. All tell us something profound about hope, identity, and how communities make meaning out of illness. Why do such stories endure? First, they promise control in chaos. Illness feels like a storm. A charm, prayer, or special water gives you a steering wheel, even if symbolic. Second, they deliver hope, which changes behavior. Hopeful patients sleep, eat, and adhere better. Third, they anchor identity. A family salve or church healing service says who we are and how we face suffering. Finally, these narratives bind communities. Sharing remedies, visiting shrines, or crowdsourcing protocols online creates solidarity, a powerful social medicine. The tale of a neighbor's aunt whose tumor vanished isn't simply data, it is a map for courage. It tells listeners you are not alone, and there is still something you can do. Consider the royal touch for scrofula, the so-called king's evil. For centuries in England and France, monarchs laid hands on sufferers while coins and prayers marked the rite. Some improved, many did not, but the ritual reinforced divine legitimacy and offered a public theater of compassion. Move to holy wells and relics, springs dedicated to saints like Winifred in Wales, or pilgrimage reliquaries displaying bones and garments. Pilgrims bathed, drank, pinned ribbons, and told recovery stories. These places were proto-clinics of community, combining expectation, clean water, and respite from work. Whether or not the relic healed, the journey itself altered stress, diet, and social support, ingredients that can shape symptoms in surprisingly tangible ways. In the British Isles, charmers whispered Bible verses over burns or passed children through split ash trees to cure rickets. Witch bottles filled with pins and urine hid under hearths, a defensive spell against unseen harms. Cross the Atlantic and you find curanderismo, blending indigenous Spanish and African traditions, limpias with eggs and herbs, prayers to saints, and neighborhood healers who knew everyone's story. In Appalachia, folk doctors mixed plant knowledge, midwifery, and practical magic, from poultices to blowing cures for warts. Skeptics dismiss these as superstition, yet many practitioners also dispensed real first aid, social counseling, and watchful waiting. The ritual framed care. The plants' rest and reassurance sometimes did the physiological heavy lifting. Today, miracle narratives spread at internet speed. A video claims a spice cured stage 4 cancer. A thread insists a protocol reversed multiple sclerosis. These stories share traits. There is a relatable hero, a simple accessible remedy, a dramatic before and after, and a villainous establishment that ignored them. Survivorship bias amplifies the loudest successes while silent non-responders disappear. Timing errors abound, symptoms naturally wax and wane, treatments overlap, diagnoses change, yet the credit goes to the latest edition. Virality rewards certainty, not nuance, so caveats vanish in the edit. The result is a compelling plot with sparse documentation, encouraging imitation without context and often without the safety net of clinical supervision. Enter the placebo, nocebo, and what anthropologist Daniel Moorman calls the meaning response. Placebo is not nothing, it is the body's reaction to symbols. Expectation can modulate neurotransmitters like endorphins and dopamine, lowering pain, easing nausea, even altering respiratory effort. Nocebo does the opposite, creating real side effects when we anticipate harm. The meaning response widens the lens. Every cue, white coat, incense, grandmother's voice, carries cultural meaning that shapes physiology. Rituals synchronize attention, reduce uncertainty, and focus care on the person, not just the pathology. This does not shrink serious disease into mind over matter, but it reminds us that belief and context are biologically active ingredients. Dismiss them, and we miss part of how healing actually unfolds. Then there is spontaneous remission and regression to the mean. Some conditions, including certain cancers and autoimmune flares, occasionally improve without targeted treatment. These rare events become narrative magnets, retrofitted with causes that arrived nearby in time. Regression to the mean is more common. We seek help when symptoms are worst. Statistically, extremes tend to drift back toward average. Any intervention at that moment looks potent. If you take a tincture the day your pain peaks, odds are you will feel better tomorrow regardless. Multiply that by thousands of experiences, and you have a reservoir of testimony that feels convincing because it is honest lived experience, but it isn't controlled evidence. What about faith healing and intercessory prayer research? Trials of distant intercession have largely shown mixed to null effects when protocols are rigorous and outcomes are objective. Some studies reported small benefits, others found no difference, and one famous trial saw slightly worse outcomes when patients knew they were being prayed for, possibly via performance anxiety. In-person faith healing is harder to study because it bundles touch, music, communal emotion, and suggestion, active elements we just discussed. When measured against appropriate controls, durable cures of advanced disease are rare, but transient pain relief, calm, and behavioral change do happen. Saying that aloud honors both science and the palpable comfort many people receive in their spiritual communities. Across cultures, shamanic and ritual healing leverage symbolic efficacy. A healer may extract a stone from a patient's body, theatrically revealing the object that caused pain. The patient knows it is theater and still feels better because the community witnesses a story that names and removes suffering. Drums entrain breathing, chant regulates attention, plants with real pharmacology mingle with cosmology. Anthropologist Claude Lévi-Strauss called this the shaman's work of transforming an ineffable and unlocalized distress into a shared narrative that can be acted upon. When family and neighbors attend, their care escalates, meals delivered, chores covered, reassurance repeated. The ritual is not a placebo trick. It is a social technology for mobilizing collective care. Folklore sometimes seeds real medicine. Willow bark tea eases pain. Centuries later, we refined salicylates into aspirin, then learned dosing and risks. Artemisia annua, Qinghao, was known in Chinese texts for intermittent fevers. Tu Yu's careful extraction methods recovered artemisinin, saving millions from malaria and earning a Nobel Prize. Foxglove, once an herbal for dropsy, became digitalis, a potent cardiac drug with a narrow therapeutic window we now monitor precisely. These successes teach two lessons. Tradition can preserve signal about biological activity. Validation, however, requires isolating compounds, testing mechanisms, and running controlled trials to balance benefit and harm. Not every folk remedy hides a blockbuster, but dismissing traditional knowledge outright risks missing valuable leads. Mythical cures are not harmless by default. Delaying effective treatment for conditions like sepsis, stroke, or aggressive cancer can cost years of life, Financial exploitation thrives where desperation meets certainty. Costly retreats, miracle supplements, and secret protocols sold as insider knowledge. Group pressure can silence doubt. Refusing the ritual might be framed as a lack of faith or loyalty. Cultural respect matters, yet there is a line between honoring tradition and protecting the vulnerable. Ethical practice asks, does this claim make testable predictions? Are risks disclosed? Is consent informed and voluntary? Are practitioners accountable? In cross-cultural settings, partnering with community leaders can integrate supportive rituals while ensuring timely, evidence-based care for dangerous conditions. Now, the claim that cures are hidden by Big Pharma. History shows perverse incentives exist, but durable suppression of an actually effective, cheap cure is hard to sustain. Why? Competitors profit by exposing weaknesses, scientists chase prestige, regulators demand data, and whistleblowers exist in every industry. To assess a suppression narrative, ask, is there a plausible mechanism? Are there independent, pre-registered trials with transparent methods and full reporting, including harms? Do multiple groups replicate results? Can you see raw data or at least audit trails? Are manufacturing and dosing standardized? Are effects large enough to survive bias and noise? Finally, evaluate sources. Primary literature over screenshots, registries, and systematic reviews over testimonials. Extraordinary claims require transparent pipelines from lab to clinic, not press conferences and paywalled miracle videos. This has been Codename Unknown with me, Jackson Wolf. We defined mythical cures, explored royal rites, holy wells, charmers, curanderismo, and Appalachian healing. We tracked modern viral miracle stories, unpacked placebo, nocebo, meaning remission and regression, and weighed evidence for faith and shamanic rituals. We separated tradition that became medicine from claims that still need proof, and we mapped harms, ethics, and how to evaluate hidden cure narratives. Remember, this show is not medical advice. Work with qualified clinicians. I want your stories, family cures, local legends, sources to investigate. Send audio clips or links, and we may feature them in a future deep dive.
You've been listening to Codename Unknown, Mysteries, Conspiracies, and Legends. The search for answers never stops, and the truth is always waiting to be uncovered. If you enjoyed the journey, subscribe to us, and don't miss what's next. Until next time, stay curious and keep questioning everything.